Hello, everybody, and welcome back to How is the Race? This is Miguel, and I'm here again with Heather. Heather is a she has ran 330 marathons so far. However, by the time this episode is released, she'll be at 331 or 332. Might be at 333. I forget exactly when her 333rd marathon will be. However, this episode is coming out in May to get you ready for an August marathon. So this is going to be a Hall of Famer coming in. She has, yep, she's above 100 for us, and then she'll be the Maniacs Hall of Famer about the time this episode comes out or this fall. By this fall, she will definitely be a Hall of Famer. We are going to be featuring the Leading Ladies Marathon in South Dakota. It's in Spearfish, South Dakota. It is an August race. It's a summer race. For those unfamiliar with South Dakota, it's not exactly that hot in the summer. So, me being from central Indiana and I grew up further southern Indiana, August is a horrible time to do a marathon. However, South Dakota, Heather's going to bring us through this. Also, to the men out there, we're going to talk about this race. We're going to learn about this race, and leading ladies. It leads me to believe this is going to be a women's only race. If you don't think there needs to be a women's only race, ask your wife, ask a lady. I have a friend of mine, Majel is her name, and she has ran many races. And I asked her because she's done, I think, Queen Bee once, and she's done a few other races. There was women's only, and I said, "This is there, with women making up over 50% of marathon finishers now, does there still need to be a women's only race?" And she said, in one word, yes. And I took that as yes. There's no need to argue about it. There's no need to fight about it. If you don't like that, if you don't think that women need to have their own race, go listen to another podcast. I don't care. But today we're going to talk about the leading ladies race, and also we're going to learn about that. But so start off, Heather, is leading ladies? It makes me think it's only women's race, or is it women that lead the race and then men start out like an hour later? I don't know. Like, do you know how it got its name? Is it women's only? Tell us about this.
Well, it has been a women's only race for a very long time. The woman who started it is actually quite fabulous. She's the type that wears like sequins and she's just great. Her name's Elaine. She doesn't own the race anymore, but she owned it for years and years. I don't honestly know why she created it over the women's only, except that it's leading ladies, so it makes sense for it to only be women. And she's, I think, a good supporter of women, so that would probably had a lot to do with it. Again, I don't know the exact reason, but I first did it in 2013, I believe. It holds a really special place in my heart because of the first time I did it, because I was 33 at the time, so it was definitely 2013. And I ran my first Boston qualifying time on the course in 3:33:33, which is kind of funny because I was 33 and lots of threes. However, it ended up not being enough to get in Boston because it was only a minute and 27 seconds and I needed a minute 38. But regardless of how goofy it turned out, it was still my first Boston qualifying time. So again, it was really nice. And at that time, it was definitely all women. And she had like men at the finish line that were in suits and they gave us each a rose. And I believe the aid station were all men at the time, too. So it just had a long history of that. It's been around for a very long time. But to answer the question, a few years ago, it was probably about 5 years ago. This friend of mine that lives in Rapid City, South Dakota, he ran the race, and she's good friends with him because they're all in the South Dakota area. And prior to that, we had actually convinced him to take over another race that's in the area. So he was a race director. Right around that time, he also ran Leading Ladies, and she did let him. He was funny, and he wore one of those like fake suit shirts. It's a t-shirt, but
Okay.
but it looks like a tuxedo, you know what I mean? So he ran in that to like kind of dressed up, but he was in a different category, like she kept it separate and everything. Well, fast forward a couple years and he had already bought the other race. She's a bit older now, so she sold the race and he, along with a few of his friends, bought it from her. And because of the fact that there's a lot of male racers in that area and everything, he did add a male version of the race, but it has a completely different name and the results are different and everything. They actually, up until I think this last year, they even started like a half hour later than the women, I think. So he kind of tried to keep it more separate still to make it still very much geared towards the women. So,
Okay.
but yeah, this,
Now, down. Okay, so going back towards. Okay, so we went to the history of the race, and now men are allowed into the race, but it's slightly different. But it's same day, same course, whatever.
mhm.
Okay, so getting back to the traditional format, how is getting to, because I'm unfamiliar. I know of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I know of over there there's Wall Drug and Badlands, which is like a few hours away. My map of South Dakota is very dumb, I guess it's the best way to put it. How do you get to Spearfish? And yeah, what is that? So what is this town like?
Well, so I've gotten there many different ways. The first time I actually drove from Chicago, and it's, I'd say 13 hours, and you do go by Wild Drug, so it's right along the there.
Free
Um,
water.
yeah, yeah. But the most convenient way is just to fly to Rapid City because that's probably 45 minutes from Spearfish, if that. But it's a very small airport, so sometimes the flights are a little overpriced, but if you get catch it at the right time, you can get affordable flights there. And I have done that a few times. But also you can fly into Denver, and Denver's about, gosh, I don't remember how many hours, maybe 5 hours or so from
Oh,
Spearfish. I'd have to look it up, but it's drivable. I've done that a couple of times too because Denver tends to be a little cheaper, but preferably the way to go is to fly into Rapid City. It's one of those airports with maybe like five gates or something. It's not exactly I don't, it's you know a little small, but it's there, and they have rental cars and everything. So it is a place that you're gonna want a car, definitely, because some people I think that they can fly into Rapid City and then go run the race and Uber everywhere. I mean, I don't even know if they have Uber, but you're not gonna want to do that because it's pretty spread out in that area. But
okay.
but it's actually so Rapid City is very close to where Mount Rushmore is. So it's in that general
Okay.
area. And a lot of people who go, like, you have to go to Mount Rushmore if you go there because it's there.
Uh, Not Rushmore. We did that one year for our family vacation. We went there, and yeah, it's a beautiful, and there's a half marathon with vacation races.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if it's the same time of year. I doubt it, but I don't know. Everybody look it up on your own. We ain't talk about this race. We're talking about the ladies. So so how is the expo for leading ladies?
It's good. They have it at the hotel that's the host hotel. It's a Holiday Inn in Spearfish, and they have like a couple of vendors and things like that. And I believe it's the day before. They might even have 2 days before, but I know for sure it's the day before at the
Okay.
hotel there. Hmm.
Now the question I've started asking, I don't do it every episode, and also the release dates of these episodes are not in chronological order of the recording. So say that my all my luggage gets lost, and I show up and I have jeans and a t-shirt and my old running shoes from 3 years ago. Um, would I be able to leave the expo with a whole kit, or am I probably not?
Yeah, I believe you could actually. So the friend who is now the race director also owns a running company in Rapid City. I
Okay.
don't know if he brings all of the gear to the expo, but I would assume that he brings some. And actually being his friend the past few years, I haven't had to go to the expo, so I don't know what they have there. But regardless of that, there's his running store, Black Hills Running Company. It's in Rapid City. It's one of the sponsors of the race and everything. And yeah, I mean, he would not leave anyone dry if they had that problem. There's also a
Okay.
Walmart if you want like some cheap things. I know that for sure, but
Hey,
yeah.
there, Walmart, having done several marathons myself, and I mean, you've done 10 times my number almost, or more than 10 times my number. Either way, Walmart, you can get an athletic shirt there. It might not be your Brooks or your New Balance or your whatever brand you prefer, but they do have wicking shirts. They do have wicking shorts. I mean, they might be basketball shorts, but and then oddly
Mhm.
enough, I've started doing. I'll repeat that this is not the same as a marathon, but I'll come home from work and I have Hanes X temp. It's the letter X temp, and they are wicking socks, and they're supposed to be like, I don't know, they're supposed to be like wicking the sweat and yada yada yada. And I've ran several 4 milers. I mean, granted, that's 22 miles short of a marathon, but yeah, yeah. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Well, I actually even said Walmart because I have a friend who has had that happen where he didn't have his stuff and he went to Walmart and whatever he got, it ended up he did really well that day. So he like had a thing for it, like
Okay.
it was good luck for him, I guess. But
But if
hmm
possible, we're going to go to Black Hills Running Company and
yes,
give
definitely.
them our money. That's
Hmm
I want to get my money there first
Oh,
before I go
for
to
sure. Yes. Mike would
Walmart.
kill me if he I'll let him listen to this and he's gonna be like, thanks, Heather. Walmart. I'm
Hey,
just
there.
kidding, Mike. All Black Hills.
Okay. So we go, okay, so and then also so the official race hotel is a Holiday Inn. So
Mhm.
Holiday Inn, I usually say the Holiday Inn Express because it's a little bit cheaper. Also, they have free
Yeah.
breakfast almost always. Pancake mixer, what up? Uh are there other hotels in the area? I assume there are,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of hotels. I
okay.
actually, the first year when I ran it in 2013, I did stay at the Holiday Inn, and partially why I did that is because they have shuttles that leave from the Holiday Inn to take you to the start because it's a point to point court, or is that what you call it? It's they drop you off and you have to run down this canyon, not have to, you get to run down this beautiful canyon, and you end at this park that's near Spearfish. So but you have to be bused to the start. So that's one of the conveniences of being at the Holiday Inn, but there are other hotels right nearby there. I more recently have been staying in Deadwood, which is a little bit of a further, it's probably like a good 20 minutes ish from Spearfish. So, it's not exactly as convenient in the morning, but I stay there because it's a very cool town. It's like old Western style. They do like shootouts in the street, reenactments of that and everything. And it's a really, really cool town to visit. So even if people didn't stay there, I would suggest that they at least go there and visit it and check it out while they're there. But I've been staying there. It again, it's about 20 minutes or so from Spearfish. So if you were to do that, you would have to drive in the morning in order to meet the shuttles. They have some
Okay.
shuttles at this park where it finishes too. So that's where like most of the buses go from, I believe. So,
Roughly, do you remember what time these shuttles start running?
oh gosh, no, it's early though. I would say 5, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember what time it starts. I'm guessing 6 or 7. So, it always takes a little while to get up there.
I remember running, I think it was my first, well, I don't want to say my first shuttle race, but either way, running Deseret News Marathon in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I had to wake up at 2 a.m. to get to the shuttle by 4 a.m. to go to the start line that I think was at 5 or 5:30. So
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
logistics. I mean, like if you're trying to do a race in South Dakota, that shouldn't be the main factor. But I'll just want to give people a heads up to what they.
Yeah. And there are other races I've done that are like that where they're super early. And this is early, but it's not that early. It's not nearly as bad as those. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, so the race is a point to point, and you start out at you run down a canyon. What is
Mhm.
the roughly what is the starting elevation?
Approximately 2000-ish before you finish. So I don't know. Um, I would guess maybe I don't think they're super high.
Okay.
I've never felt elevation. There is a little bit of rolling in it, and usually, like, with my experience with marathons and elevation, if you climb at elevation, you can definitely feel it. But if you're going down, I usually don't even notice it. And
Okay.
there are a few climbs, so I don't think it must be very high because I haven't noticed it. But the overall loss in elevation is around 2,000 feet. So it is a downhill course, which is really nice. So,
Okay.
mhm.
So that's and I mean I've only done a few races at elevation. I couldn't tell you what I did for Deseret News. I ran Colfax. You and I were speaking about that before we started recording. And Colfax is in Denver, Colorado, which is famous for being the Mile High City. The, Salt Lake City, I think it's 3,000, and you start out around 5 or 6,000. I don't remember. So I guess that was a bad question to just throw on you like that.
Yeah, I should know, honestly. I mean, it must be lower than that, or I don't know. I don't normally feel it at 5,000 even. I was telling you the 5K I did because I was trying to push and everything, but it must be around 5,000, maybe 4.
Five
I don't
thousands or not 5,000s, 5Ks, which are 5,000 meters.
know.
5Ks, it's a whole different category
Yeah,
from most what we. I mean, for most of us, a 5K is an after work training run or recovery event.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, the elevation's definitely not anything to write home about. I don't know. I'll have to
How
ask
many?
Mike after this and he'll be like, Heather, you got that wrong too. How many times have you done that?
So, the start of this race, are we talking? Because with it being a shuttle event, I don't expect it to be. Chicago is 40,000, which there's only a few races that are near that size. Monumental Indianapolis is 10,000 to 12,000. So I'm assuming but those are both loop courses. With this
Hmm.
being a point to point course with shuttles, I'm assuming it's probably closer to 1,000 runners or 500 runners.
Probably 500 or less, maybe even, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Again, I'm not positive in that. It's definitely small. Last year was the first year that they had pacers, and I was the 5-hour pacer, and I was alone a lot of it. I had people ahead of me or behind me that I could at least see going down the canyon, but it's it can be a little lonely. It's beautiful, but it's definitely not Chicago. Like they're a different experience for sure.
Very,
Hmm.
very. And there's a lot to look at both of those, but it's
Oh yeah,
different things.
very different. Yes. Hmm.
Okay. How would I assume the aid stations are a little bit closer to your standard 2.5, 3 mile.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's nothing I ever noticed with them being off. They're about 2 to 3 miles. Hmm.
Do you remember what type of nutrition they had on course? I normally don't ask this question, but it came up in a conversation I was having with somebody else earlier.
I would say water and Gatorade. I'm not sure if they have gels. I don't really focus on that usually, but
Fair.
yeah, I doubt that they do. I don't know.
I've only remembered. I think it's the Chicago 13-1. They have Mutane or Martin or something like that energy.
Oh, oh yeah.
But at the Chicago Marathon, they have Gatorade Endurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then most other races, you tend to see a lot of goo or
Mm-hmm.
other brands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
it's that was just something that came up earlier, and also
Yeah.
with the way the sponsorship deals and not endorsements, but sponsorships and everything work. This year it could be goo, and next year it could be tailwind.
Yeah. True. Yep.
So now on the course, you're coming down the canyon, and is it all being I guess the right word would be scenic.
Yes, it's very beautiful. That's actually, I mean, I've probably done it between this course and the other race that he has. The other races, the second half of the course is basically the same as this one. I've probably done it 20 times. So it really is beautiful. It's like it's definitely different than the Midwest that you're surrounded by this canyon with lots of beautiful trees and rocks, and there's if you really go exploring in it, there's waterfalls and things like that, and sometimes you'll see wildlife. Like it's really, really beautiful. That's definitely the selling point of it. And I mean, it is 2,000 feet downhill, so it's a little bit easier too, and
Okay.
that's nice. Yeah.
Now with okay, I don't know if you know the the regs and everything else, but I know that Boston they recently changed something
Yeah.
about their qualifiers with downhill races, and I don't recall
Yes.
all that.
Yeah, I believe theirs is in the 5 minute penalty because I think it's anything over 1,500 maybe is the five. He's not in the 10 minute. The 10 minutes like over 5,000 downhill.
Okay.
So yeah, there are some that are in that, or maybe, I mean, it might be 4,000, but whatever it is, his race is not in that. So, but I do believe it's a 5 minute penalty.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that's for those that are trying to qualify for Boston, that be something to consider.
Yeah.
I'm not even into conversation thought process of qualifying for Boston.
Well, if they would have done that back when I did qualify, I would have known already that I wasn't getting it. I've never even gotten my hopes up.
It is okay, sidetrack, which the tagline of this show is tangents. I we keep talking about Boston. Well, we don't keep. I keep bringing it up, not you. But everybody forgets about New York City. Their time qualifier is harder than Boston's.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But I feel like people focus more on it for Boston because probably because New York's even harder. Like, not a lot of people that run New York are running it because of the qualifying. Most of them are running it through charities or actually getting in, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah, there's
yeah.
we'll talk about I love New York City Marathon. It's not that I don't dislike it whatsoever, but I just don't want to focus on that right now because that's not the theme of the show. So as we're going through the race, as we're going down, we're seeing these scenic views. We're seeing some wildlife. We're seeing some waterfalls. We have the aid stations. Do you? I assume there's really not any towns along the way, or I don't know what to call them. Not villages, but is there really anything between the start and finish other than the scenery?
There is kind of one little village. There's a restaurant that you pass by. It's just on this canyon road. I guess it's a village. I don't know. And then there is a part around the halfway where you pass by this lodge that people stay at, and you could stay there too, but it's at the halfway point of the course, so you're a little bit further out of town. at that point. But yeah, there's a lodge there, and there are different like places where people go off and go on like hikes and look at the waterfalls and different things like that. So, and there are some houses, especially in the beginning, you pass by some houses and things like that that are just these random mountain town houses that they're oh, there's the best part about it, I left this out, is there's a bubbling like creek that probably made the canyon. I don't know how all that works, but I assume it had something to do with it because the creek is along the course like the whole time too, so you can hear
Oh,
the bubbling of the water and everything, and it's just really, really beautiful. And at the very, very beginning, there's a neighborhood, and they changed the course this past year to kind of make it a little bit easier in the middle. And you run through the neighborhood first. It's just basically a subdivision kind of where you run around some houses before you then get onto the canyon part of it and start going down. So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad because I was thinking the whole time that this is just going to be, you start out with nobody and you finish with almost nobody, or you finish in a small area. How is the finish? How is the finish line? Like you're coming in like last mile, the finish line in the expo area, or I should
Or
say,
the
I don't know, Runners Reunite or whatever they call it.
hmm so you do start to kind of you're getting back into Spearfish at this point. So you then get on this bike path that kind of leads you through a campground area before you then come out and you cross over a bridge, and then the finish line is in a park that's right there. And you can hang out at the park and get snacks and post race things there, and just it's beautiful. It's by the creek too, so you could theoretically go get in the creek if you wanted to and
Yeah,
hang out there. Mhm.
yeah, that'd be a nice way because I assume the water's going to be fairly because being August, you're a little bit on the backside of the snow melt, but I imagine the
Mhm.
water's probably still cold, so that'd be, you know,
Oh yeah, that's nice.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So how is the okay? So when I think of leading ladies, and when I think of we're not talking about the Queen Bee and I think Queen Bee might be a series, or I don't know if it's just one race or not. But I'm trying to think of how the medals would be, or if they are really that different. Because I'm trying to think as a guy, as a man, I'm thinking of the leading ladies. I'm thinking it's going to be more feminine themed
Mm.
or something. I'm trying to think of the right verbiage to put on it. But how is the finisher's medal compared? I guess not compared to, but how is the finisher's medal on its own?
You have me questioning, actually. There are some that they have been very feminine. I don't know where mine is from this past. Oh no, that was the other one I did. Oh, this is it. Okay, I have it here. It's a little bit like it's kind of small, but it's got both the lady and because the men's version of it now is called Dakota Spirit. So they have both of them on there, and the ladies part is the flower there that's in the middle. But
Okay.
there have been different years that have been I don't think I have any more of them out. I keep a lot of mine in a bag. It's pretty sad, but I have
I
some
mean,
hanging up there. You can kind
oh
of see
gosh,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
And this was the past year.
Oh,
So,
oh wow. That's so for those that are listening in, she's
yeah.
shown me her some of her metal racks
Right.
and they're very impressive, to say the least. And that's not even the medals from this year is impressive, let alone the previous years and then the ones you have in bags and box.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably should figure out how to hang up more of them, but I believe my first year with running Leading Ladies, it was probably pink and it had a lady on it and things like that. But yeah. Yep, yep.
What is the ribbon ink or anything, or is it yellow? I can't
This one's
remember.
orange.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think there are some years that are pink or purple, and yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that I would assume that to be more more feminine than neutral or masculine. I mean, I don't think of most metals being masculine, but then again, it's kind of like if everything in the world, or almost everything in the world, is kind of angled to you, you don't realize everything is kind of angled to you.
Mm-hmm.
The best way, which is there's a comic I was listening to. I was watching his routine, and he was talking about uh, pants. Your jeans are left-handed, or your jeans are right-handed. When you go to zip or unzip your pants, the flap is from the left to the right. So with your right hand, you have to typically you operate your zipper. Well, that's kind of how the world is for some people. Is you don't realize that the world is built for you being a right-handed person, because the left-handed people, it's kind of harder for them to unzip their jeans because the flap is kind of in the way, whereas when you're right-handed, it's not. So for most men, the world is built kind of for us in a lot of ways. And the leading ladies, it's creating a space for the ladies to have their, well, at first it was their own event, but now there's a men's event as well. And it is what it is. But then the women still have their own start time and their own event. And I'd expect this to be, like if I got my Expo shirt and it was what I would consider a feminine Expo shirt, I shouldn't get mad because it's a leading ladies event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, don't
True.
get mad that it's, like you said, they used to have flowers or roses at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't expect that at most races, but then again, most races are not geared to attract the women to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
feel accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So what is the well, heck, you gosh, you have 330 marathon shirts and I don't know how many half marathon shirts and how many 5K shirts.
Yeah.
We're not even going to ask you about the shirt.
I mean, I don't remember either. Like they've probably been a variety of colors, but I do believe there was a pink or purple one in there too. So yeah, we're
Oh,
more
well,
feminine.
I'll speak to you on that race later on. But I'll mention it here. Run the Rainbow for Children's, um, Run the Rainbow for Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. That race, you got to choose your shirt color at the expo, and there was the colors of the rainbow. So I
Oh,
got,
that's cool.
yeah. So, but that race was one of the few races. That's the only race I've ever been to where you got to choose your shirt color.
Yeah, that's cool. Interesting.
Yeah. You wanna come check out that? Well, we'll talk about you coming to check out that race later on.
All right.
So how did you're in Spearfish and you're outside of Rapid City. How did you celebrate your accomplishment? Or well, heck, you've done this race several times. Is
Yeah.
there a particular spot you love to go? Like you're already looking to August and you're already looking to do the race, and after the race, you've already decided I'm going to go eat here.
Well, so most of the time recently we go back to Rapid City and hang out with my friend because he's the race director. And because of that too, I get involved in like helping them somewhat and making sure that, cleanup goes okay. And he doesn't make us do too much with it, but we end up going back to his place now. But I will say that there are a lot of breweries and things like that in the area that are really good. And yeah, you would enjoy that for sure. Um, I don't remember the names of them. They're just smaller, like local breweries, and I think there's one that's called like Spearfish Brewing Company or something like that. And I've done that one before. They did have for his other race, they had a packet pickup at one of the breweries there that was really nice, and it was like they had a nice outdoor area by it and everything. But there's just a variety of them in Spearfish. And one year, I believe they even had like a beer fest that was right around the same time that they like had a bunch of things going on for that. So yeah,
That sounds fun.
it's right up your alley.
I
Yeah.
do not have my South Dakota marathon. I did my half, but I didn't do my full yet for South Dakota. So this I might have to look at that brew fest.
Yeah. I should give a little shout out to his other race while we're at it because like I said, it's on the same course, but it
Okay.
actually starts in Sundance, Wyoming and ends in Spearfish. So the second half of it's almost the same as Leading Ladies, but Leading Ladies starts and finishes in South Dakota, where Sundance to Spearfish starts in Sundance and ends in Spearfish. So that as a positive because like you just said you don't have South Dakota, but it also the other race is very good because you can then get Wyoming and run on another, it's very beautiful too, so yeah, but
Now,
it's about a month later, so it's
okay. So me personally, I'm not a member of Maniacs.
hmm
Um, so I'm crossing off the boxes on my own, and I don't do anything official. That's just how I choose to live my life. Nothing
hmm
against the Maniacs; they're cool. I love them. I really do. It's just I don't. I'm not part of that club yet. Um, man, because I'm cheap.
there's nothing wrong with that.
But with
Mhm.
that, does come on some so does Maniacs consider where it starts or finishes, or a race like this, do you get to choose which state it counts for?
Well, so you're getting a little mixed up because maniacs don't really care too much about the states. They only care about the states if you like, there are different levels. Like, if you did 30 states in a year, you'd get to a different level. But for the most part, maniacs just care about numbers more than anything. 50
Okay.
states, however, though, you're not in 50
Oh
states either.
no,
I think they're
I'm hor
cheaper. Well, wait until you finish the states and then pay for it. That saves some money. Just pay
there
at
we
the
go.
end. But their rules are you can only count it for one of the states. Like, so in that race in particular, the one that starts in Wyoming and South Dakota, on that day, you could only count it for one state. So you'd have to pick which one. But there are some other races where, like, you might start in South Dakota and run through Wyoming or something, and you could only count it for South Dakota because it does matter with it has to start and or finish in whichever state you're choosing, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And you can only pick one. You can't make it count for both because you only ran it once on that day. But yeah.
Okay, okay. Which I mean, for me in my personal journey, I would only count for one or the other because it
hmm
seems disingenuous to cross off two states with one rate. Well,
Yeah.
now the reason I pause is because Louisiana, I think it's the Louisiana marathon. You start out in Louisiana, you run a half of Louisiana, and then you run a half in Arkansas.
Do you
And
finish in Arkansas? Or-
I want to say it's like a figure eight, if I remember
Oh.
correctly. And the start the 13-1 for the marathon is at the state line, so you can run a half in one state and a half in another state. But I don't know if it was because of that, but now the rules for 50 states is it must be a one of the rules is it must be a mass start. So that race
Mhm.
no longer qualifies for 50 states for the halves.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, there's some rules behind all of it for sure.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, and part of the reason I don't so during COVID or shortly after, so 2020 2021, I ran in Baltimore. I ran the Baltimore Running Festival half marathon course, and I ran it on my own because I could. It worked out my schedule and whatever else. That doesn't count for 50 states. It doesn't count for Maniacs because I just did a training run essentially. But
hmm
for me personally, I've now ran 13-1 in that state.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And then in Vegas, I did a 13-1 in this city park. It was like 9 laps or something stupid. I don't know. I hated it afterwards. But also, I ran a 13-1 in Nevada, but it wasn't a race. It wasn't even a race course. It was just
Mm-hmm.
me doing 13-1, which those don't count. And I'm fine with that not counting. It's
Mm-hmm.
my reason for this is the journey and the meeting of people and drinking beer.
Which is all fun and good, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Did you not
So
have a beer in Louisville? Aren't you in Louisville?
I'm in Louisville right now drinking a beer from Louisville.
Oh, okay. You forgot to mention, don't you usually mention your beer?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So I do normally mention the beer, and that okay. Normally, if I'm drinking a beer from that area, I will say the beer that we're enjoying, and I will say how many medals that beer is. If I'm
Oh,
if I'm featuring a beer from that area, I will say today we are featuring this beer, but I won't rate
oh,
it because I haven't had it.
gotcha.
So in the beginning of this episode, I meant to pause. We will be featuring the Milk Stout from Wood Grain Brewing Company in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This is on the lighter side of the ABV spectrum. It's a 5.2 ABV, super drinkable stout with notes of coffee and dark chocolate. We will give this one 3.5 medals out of 5. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner. Usually, I like my stouts around 8% and higher. This one is once again only 5.2%, and it comes in at a nice, easy 32 IBUs.
Uh, maybe.
I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
I
Film
no,
first.
I actually don't know. I do know that it's where they filmed Dances with Wolves. It's like it's out in pretty remote, so I don't think so. I think Sundance is the film festival is in some other state, maybe even.
I
Well, I have no idea. Mike, I'm sorry, I'm getting this one wrong too. Actually, you've
I,
probably met Mike. He paces Chicago with us. Mike Alden. He's
okay.
yeah, he paces usually like 3:45, but he's
Well,
been doing it for the past few years. Yeah.
he's way up there. He's way up there.
I'll be sure to introduce you again this year, though. Remind
Yes,
you.
I love I that we won't get into the whole tent because I love the pacing tent. It's everybody out in listener land. Just know that the Pacers out here, we know each other. We're a big and small community, and we typically don't bite unless you ask us to. So come say hi to us, talk to us, because we most of us enjoy talking to y'all, and we enjoy hearing your story and telling you our stories, and you're going to tell us where you're from. And I remember I was pacing Jackson, Mississippi, and a lady that I ran with her twice out in Washington, the B&O half and Jack and Jill marathon. I paced with her. I ran with her at both of those races, and she was at Jackson, Mississippi. And at the time when I ran Washington, Jackson wasn't even on my map.
Hmm.
And I got to Jackson, and she was like, "Hey, was it you in Washington?" I was like, "Yes." So like, come say hi to us, people. Like, we're really cool people. We like making friends.
Yep, that's
So
what it's about.
no, I've asked you this before in the previous episode, but I'm gonna run with it again just to reiterate. What watch what watch do you run with typically?
Oh, I actually have a different watch since the last episode. I have a Garmin Vivo Active or something like that. I just got it in December and I got it mostly because it looks nicer than most Garmin's do while you wear it because I wear it all day every day. So, and personally, I mean, I run a lot. It does everything I want it to do. I know other people probably take their running a little more seriously than I do, and maybe it wouldn't be for them because one thing it doesn't do that my old watch used to do is it like predicts your race time and things, or it doesn't predict your race time. My other one did, and this doesn't. Another running friend of mine, she has the same watch and she figured that out, and I didn't even notice it personally. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's not like that was ever right anyways." Like, I don't miss that. So, there's things like that that it's like, "Oh, I guess it is more of a cutesy watch," but it does your pace, it does the distance, the accuracy of it's all seems fine to me, so, I mean, that's all I really need personally, and it goes to my Garmin. It does give me a body battery now, though, and my other watch didn't do that, and, like,
Oh,
so that's a little different, but yeah, it's nice. I like it.
the the winner, the winner of the Boston Marathon, I think. I can't really look right now because my I'm recording on my phone screen and everything. I want to say it was the winner or the American winner for the Boston Marathon. She forgot her watch
Oh, yeah.
and she borrowed another person's husband's watch, and he had a Garmin 55 Forerunner, a Garmin Forerunner 55, which it's a different series than the Vivo, so it's hard to equate on which one's better or which one's not. Whatever. Um, I run a Garmin 965, which is
Oh, yours
a
is
lot
fine.
more expensive.
Yeah. Yours
Um,
just got all the bells and whistles, huh?
yeah, however, she still finished faster than me. So,
Yeah,
and
faster
the
than
reason,
anyone, any women. Yeah.
yes, and that's one of the two questions I always ask, just to reiterate again and again and again and again that whatever watch you have on your wrist right this minute, whatever watch it is, that is all you need to run a marathon. Even if you don't have a watch, that's all you need. You don't need a watch. You don't need to spend $1,000 on a watch or $500 or $300. It's not a barrier to entry.
Mhm.
Um, if you want to get, well, there's data that you can get out of better watches, yada yada yada, whatevs. And then the other question, because I always get asked this, is what shoes do you run in?
Oh gosh, I've been changing them so much lately. But one thing that I have started to do the past few years, and I've kind of been sticking to this even when I'm pacing or whatever, is I will wear carbon plate shoes during the marathon because for me personally, I do think they make my feet feel better at the end of a marathon than they used to. I definitely notice a difference with that. I don't notice that they make me faster or anything like that, so I don't know how magical they are, but a lot of people call them magic shoes, and, they make my feet feel nice and cozy, so that's good, but, so the different ones for that are like the Saucony, Pros or the Nike Alpha Flies. I've done both of those, and those are pretty much the ones I prefer, or Saucony Pros or the Nike Alpha Fly, but
I'm running in the A6. I think it starts with a K. I can't even pronounce it off the top of my head, which is
mhm.
pretty bad that I'm the host and I should be ready for this question because it's my own question I ask in every freaking episode. However, once again, that's also just to reiterate that you don't need, well, okay, that's not to reiterate you don't need. It is to show that whatever shoe that I run in, because I've ran in Nikes for I think 3 miles, and I knew at mile point eight that I would never run in those shoes again.
Mhm.
And those were the motion controlled shoe. They were the best shoe, to my knowledge, that Nike has for me, and I hated it within the first mile. So just because she runs in Nikes doesn't mean you need to, and does because I run in the Asics doesn't mean you need to. Go to your local running store. If that's Black Hills Running
Black
Company,
Hills. Mhm.
if it's Black Hills Running Company, cool. if you're down in Louisville, there's a place called Swags, or go to Fleet Feet. I mean, or Runner's World, Runner's Warehouse. Those aren't, they're not bad options. It's not that I don't like Runner's Warehouse. It's actually, I've ordered shoes from them. It's not that I don't like Fleet Feet. I've bought shoes from them, but I just like give my money to the local guy when I can. So like, how about the local guy?
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
go to them and find out the shoes that work for you.
definitely. Yep.
So,
I guess
oh,
that's all I'd really say though, is that each person needs to figure it out for themselves too, because I agree, like you sometimes you think that one shoe's going to work for you and it doesn't, and it works for other people. I've never been into Hokas, but I have a lot of friends who wear Hokas, so I tried and it just didn't work. So, yep, it's
I've
true.
ran 4 to 8 marathons in Hokas.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just because it worked for me, you know.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
So with that being said, and everything being said, leading ladies marathon. It's in August. It's in Spearfish, South Dakota. It's a great race. It sounds like a great race. It sounds, if you need big city races, you're probably not going to get that in South Dakota at all.
Hmm. No.
it, I mean, like, come on, look at South Dakota, figure it out. Population like 50 for the whole state, but 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 honestly though, they're this does seem like a nice race. It does seem like a very accepting and welcoming and inviting race. The men's aspect of it, the fact that they start later than the women's, cool. It brings more money that helps. I would say without, and I'm not asking you to speak for the RD, but it does help the cost be spread among more people because if you need porta potties and there's 300 people or 500 people, I mean, yes, there's well, for the sake of argument, permits. Okay, you need the same amount of permits no matter how many people you need for the sake of argument. So if there's 300 people that need the permits or 500 people that need the permits, that's the money that can be spread across more runners. And the police, well, it's the same number of police, so it's spread across more people, and so on and so forth. The timing mats and yada yada yada. It does help that the men are able to participate, and that the ladies get their own start so they can have their own race, and the men have their own start. So essentially, I guess they're having their own race, but it's not about the men. Screw us. It's about the ladies today, and that's perfectly fine. It's
Hmm.
it's yeah. With everything being said, and I'll try not to sprain my ankle getting off my high horse. Um, is there anything that you would like to say in closing before we finish up the episode?
The main thing really is that out of 330 marathons, I would say that Leading Ladies is up there and maybe even number one because I've just done it so many times. It's such a beautiful part of the country to visit. It's unique because I have done all 50 states and I know that there's some states that aren't so nice, and South Dakota is a surprisingly very nice state, even though there are a few people there. It's very beautiful and it's worth the visit for sure. So I would recommend it to anyone. Yeah.
Well, once again, Heather, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for coming on the show and giving us your time. I really do appreciate. I appreciate everything. Um, Leading ladies, check the show notes. I don't think anybody ever checks the show notes, but I put it there anyway. There's a link there to the website. It's not a special link. You don't get like $20 off or $10 off, or I don't get anything. It's just a link. You can Google it and probably get the same exact link I do when I Google it. But I put it there to make it easier for you to register because I want that for you. I want that for everybody out there in the listener land to make it easier for you to register. Um, I want to see you again soon. I'm excited about that. I'm always excited to see you. because you helped me to my PR, but we've talked about that before. We'll talk about that again. So I just want to thank everybody out there, listener land, for joining us and giving us, having us be part of your long run or your drive to work or at work or whatever you're doing. Just I appreciate you letting us be in your ear holes. So with that being said, share, like, subscribe, share with a friend, share with an enemy, share with your mother's brothers, cousins, sisters, third uncle on the right hand side. Be sure to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you will get on an airplane to go to Austria and you will end up in Australia and you will have the wrong clothes for the trip. I don't know. Remember that to run the race you are in, and forward is a pace. Thank you.